Or we live now?
All right, we live.
Yeah.
All right, all right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem,
Yeah.
Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to Allah Akim that is doing the work in sincerity and charity with humiliation, risking your lives and freedom to do so. All right. So, this is the brother Karatas Naban YASHARAHLA from the GMS Bahamas camp. And on the next line is it's calling in, brother.
This is the brother Yasha1.
All right. So today we'll be pretty much going into the Greeks and the Grecians, and linking it up with the scriptures and showing you that the Grecians and the Greeks that pertain to everlasting, that receive everlasting life and repentance of sin, that they are all Israelites. All right. So I got something here, basically a brief article with some definition. So I'm going to go through it briefly to hit a couple of key points and give you the understanding on that. All right, because you notice now this is a hot topic here in Israel. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. All right, this is the definition for Grecians. All right, so it says Greeks. In the Old Testament, the word Grecians occurs once, and that's in the book of Joel. All right. So for reference to Greece in the Old Testament, it says see Yavan or Javan, but we ain't going into that right now. All right. It says in the King James version of the Old Testament, the Old Testament apocrypha, Grecians and Greek are without distinction. All right. Now let's get an example of what they're talking about. Because whoever put this together, they can't really discern whether is speaking about the actual Greek or Hellenized Greek. All right. So through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, we'll bring out some information and scriptures on that to prove that point. All right. So the first precept I want to hit is First Maccabees 1:10.
1:10, right? This is First Maccabees chapter 1 and 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been an hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 130 and 70th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
Right. So we see here that this is speaking about Alexander the Great. All right. Which he is the king of Grecia, the king of Greece. All right. Now let's bring out a couple more precepts to further touch on this.
All right, all
All
right.
right.
This is chapter 6 and 2, Maccabees. And that there was in it a very rich temple, wherein were coverings of gold, and breastplates and shields, which Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian king, who reigned first among the Grecians, had left there.
Right. So you see that. All right. But let's get another precept.
All right. This is same book, chapter 8 and verse 9. Moreover, our Grecians are determined to come and destroy them,
All right. Read on.
and that they, having knowledge thereof, sent against them a certain captain, and fighting with them slew many of them, and carried away captive their wives and their children, and spoiled them, and took possession of their lands, and pulled them down their strongholds, and brought them to their servants unto this day.
Right. And that's the Israelites. You
God,
see that? That's the Greeks right there. All right. Before they were Hellenized. During this period, we're going to see that they have been Hellenized. All right. So we could drop the ball right there with that.
Yes, yes.
All right. We're gonna bring out more precepts that further add insult to injury. Let's get another one. You know, me second Maccabees chapter 4 now.
This is
You know,
Second Maccabees chapter 4 and 15. All right. Not saddened by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all.
you hear that? Uh, you
Let
see
me,
that?
let me read that again.
Read that again.
Not saddened by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all.
Right, and this is talking about those same ones, those same set of people who Alexander carried away along with their wives and their children, which are Israelite, which became Hellenized. All right.
Uh,
Now let's jump to verse 36 now.
verse 36. And when the king was come again from the place about Seleucia, the Jews that were in the city, and certain of the Greeks that have heard the fact also, complained because Onias was slain without cause.
Khan. All right. So with that, you could discern the Jews and the Greeks. All right. So whoever put this thing together, they didn't know. You see what I said? All right. So Lenny, moving along. That's in First Maccabees 1:1. All right. Bring that precept out because I want to make the point here. Right.
This first Maccabees 1 and 1. And it happened after that Alexander the son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chetem, had smitten Darius, king of the Persian and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece.
Right. All right. So Alexander the Great is spoken of as the king of Greece. All right. And then verse 10. All right. Let's read verse 10. Jump to verse 10. Verse 10 again.
We stand again. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been an hostage at Rome, and he reigned in 137 year of the kingdom of Greeks.
Right. Just like I say, right? Alexander the Great is spoken of as being the king of Greece. And here in verse 10, the Macedonian Empire is called the kingdom of the Greeks. You see that?
Right, right.
So that here, that jump the second Maccabees, chapter 13 and 2. All right.
This is Second Maccabees chapter 13 and 2. And with him Laius is protector and ruler of his affairs, having either of them a Grecian power of footmen 110,000, and horsemen 5,300, and elephants 220, and 300 chariots armed with hooks.
Right. All right. Because, like I say, right? Uh, Alexander the Great is spoken of as the king of Grecia, right? And in verse 10, we see that the Macedonian Empire was also known as the kingdom of the Greeks. And then here in 2nd Maccabees 13 and 2, the army of Antiochus, the king of Assyrian, is called a Grecian. All right. So now let's link this now. Let's jump now to 2nd Maccabees now, chapter 6 and 8.
All right. The second Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 8. Moreover, there went out of a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathens by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices.
Right. All right. So we see Antiochus is called the Syrian. right? And here in Second Maccabees 6 and 8, we see the Greek cities are Macedonian colonies, all right? And also reference is made in voice 1, all right? Let's get it. Jump up to voice 1 now.
All right. Verse 1. Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of the Most High.
Right, because like I say, voice 8 made reference to voice 1,
God.
all right? To an aged man, Athenian, who was sent by Antiochus the king to charge the duty of Hellenizing the Jews. All right. So he wanted these Jews to be basically the forget their laws and to be Greeks, to worship their gods and to
Right.
live after them.
Right.
All right.
And this is
So,
this is
oh,
why our people are lost today.
Khan,
See, because they don't take their time out to study and to read and to search things out.
this
Yep.
is and also right. This is going into the history of the third kingdom that is spoken about in Antiochus.
Right.
So without the history behind this, without the knowledge of this history, you wouldn't understand who those Gentiles or who those Greeks and Grecians is in the New Testament. But
Right.
also we're gonna touch on that as well. All right, all right. So we see this old man of Athens, which he was an Athenian, which he was an Israelite, of course. You
Right.
know, give him charge of Hellenizing the Jews. All right, and here in Second Maccabees 9 and 15, let's get that. When you get that, you could read.
So this is Second Maccabees chapter 9, verse 15. And as
Right.
touched the Jews, whom he had judged not worthy so much as to be buried, but to be cast out with their children to be devoured of the fowls and wild beasts, he would make them all equals to the citizens of Athens.
Done. All right. So now you understand where this is going. All right. So Antiochus vowed to this old man in voice 1 that in chapter 6 in voice 1, he vowed that that he would make the Jews equal with the Athenians. Thus them being Hellenized.
God,
You see that?
God. So that the
All
Jews,
right.
would forget their laws and forget who they are.
That's it. See what I'm saying? So now, all right, we're gonna jump back to First Maccabees chapter 12. All right.
This is First Maccabees chapter 12, verse 14.
Yeah.
Uh, Howbeit we would not be troublesome unto you, nor to others of our confederates and friends in these wars.
All right. That ain't sound like it.
No, no,
All
no.
right. So Lenny, uh, all right. Lenny, reference is made to negotiation of Jonathan the high priest. All right, with the Spartans, whom he called brethren. All right, seeking the renewal of a treaty of the alliance and amity with the Assyrians, with the spread of Greek power and Greek influence. Everything not specifically Jewish was called Greek. That's the Hellenization right there. All right. Thus, here in Second Maccabees chapter 4 and 36, right? Let's get that.
All right. This is Second Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 36. And when the king was come again from the places about Selica, the Jews that were in the city, and certain of the Greeks that have heard the fact also complained because Onias was slain about without cause.
Right. See what I saying? Now jump to chapter 11 now. Second Maccabees chapter 11 and verse 2.
Or Second Maccabees 11 and verse 2. And when he gathered, and when he had gathered about fourscore thousand with all the horsemen, he came against the Jews, thinking to make the city an habitation of the Gentiles.
Right, because like I said, right, the spread of the Greek power and influence, you know, everything not specifically Jewish was called Greek. Thus here in Second Maccabees 4 and 36 and 11 and 2, the Greeks contrast with the Jews are simply, uh, they say not Jews, but we see that these are Jews. All right. All right. It says so-called because of the prevalence of the Greek institution and culture, and Greek even became, you know,
Yeah.
even came to be used in the sense of non-Jewish, which this is not true because we see so far that all these people are being Hellenized.
Thanks.
See what I say? They are all Israelites being Hellenized.
Right.
All right. So this is just basically a backdrop of what happened in the Grecian captivity and how we became Hellenized, how we became to be called Greeks and Grecian. All right, because here in Second Maccabees chapter 6, uh, uh, let's start at Second Maccabees 6 and 6. It says, "Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew." All right, because they would have been put to death if they say that they was a Jew. So if they wasn't professing or calling themselves a Jew, what were they calling themselves? Greeks.
Yeah.
Simple. All right. So now, what we're gonna do now? We're gonna jump down into the New Testament. All right. Because in the New Testament, English version of the Bible, right, the Bible attempts to distinguish between Hellenes, which is rendered Greeks, and Hellenistas, which is refers to Grecian or Grecian Jews. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're gonna get an example of that. So you could hit me with the first precept, Acts 6 and 1, and then jump to 9 and 29.
This is Acts chapter 6 and verse 1.
Right. So Salakia, right?
Right.
Salakia, right? And this year you ain't gonna get this in the Mallet houses either.
No.
Right?
No.
Because they don't go into history.
No.
All right.
Therefore they won't have that understanding.
Right.
All right. You won't have that understanding. All right. This is Acts chapter 6 and 1. And in those days, when the number of the disciples was multiplied, there arose a murmuring of the Grecians against the Hebrews because the widows were neglected in the daily ministration.
Ministration. All right. Now jump to 9 and 29 now.
This is Acts 9 and 29. And he spake boldly in the name of the Lord Yahweh and dispute against the Grecians, but they went about to slay him.
Khan, right? And Grecian, right? Or Grecian Jews were Hellenists. They were Greek-speaking Jews, right? According to the Young's Compact, the Young's Bible Dictionary. All right. So we see here that these Grecian Jews here in Acts 6 and 1 and 9 and 21, these later were Jews of the dispersion who spoke Greek. All right. So these Grecians, all right, that's mentioned here in Acts 6 and 1, they are Greek speaking Jews. The only thing what separated them was you had Jews which spoke Hebrew and Jews which spoke Greek. All right. And now we understand how they became Greek because we just went into the history in the Third Kingdom to understand that
Right.
that they were Hellenized. All right. So these Jews were of the dispersion who spoke Greek as distinguished from the Palestinian Jews. But since many of the latter also spoke Greek by preference, all right, the distinction the distinction could in no sense be obsolete. All right, because why? All right, they were the ones that were being Hellenized.
Right.
All right, so let's further prove that. All right, that these Jews would spoke Greek, that they were of the dispersion. All right, you know what I want.
This is John 7 and 35. Then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go, that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles?
Right, the dispersion among the Greeks. All right, all right.
Yeah.
So it says you can't hardly refer to any uh, but the but the Grecian Jew, Hellenista.
Right.
All right, that's what it is. Although Hellenian, although Hellenian is used in John 12 and 20, right? But the word to the word instead of Hellenian being there, it's supposed to be Hellenistas. All right, and we're gonna prove that right now. Jump to John chapter 12 and 20.
Done.
All right. So
John 12.
this word yet the writers deliberately put that there to throw you off.
Done.
But if you ain't of the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai to guide you, you'll basically get caught up. You know, the men you get trapped up
Right.
with the churches, the Christian churches do.
Right.
All right.
This is John 12 and 20. And there were certain Greeks among them that came up to worship at the feast.
All right. Now check this out, right? Jump up to verse 1.
All right. Then Yahushua, 6 days before the Passover, came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, which had been dead, whom he raised from the dead.
Right. So this is going into the Passover. You see
Right.
what I said? And we know the only ones that can keep the Passover are Israelites.
The Israelites.
All right. Let's prove that. Go to Deuteronomy 16 and 16.
All right.
All right. Showing you that this year they put the word Greeks there when the word Grecian should have been there, which is Hellenista instead of Hellenic. All right.
Okay. This is Deuteronomy chapter 16 and 16. 3 times a year shall all thy males appear before Yahweh thy power in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles, and they shall not appear before Yahweh empty.
Right. And you just read that in John 12 and 20. And
Yeah.
the place where the Lord put his name is in Jerusalem.
Use them.
All right. So the Greek you see there in John 12 and 20, that's supposed to be Grecian, which is the Greek speaking Jew,
Right.
Hellenista. All right. Who went up to worship at the feast of the Passover. All right. Was certainly among the Grecian Jews, Hellenistas.
Yeah.
See what I said? Because Yahweh Shai said it in verse 1.
All right. And
See what I said?
only
Done.
the children of Israel can do that.
That's it.
No other race or other people can do that.
Right.
See?
All right. So while the English version of the Bible consistently reads Hellenists with the Greeks, We are not to we are not by that rendering a prize to the real character of the people so designated, with which we already know that that's speaking about the Israelites. All right. It says this difficulty is aggravated by fact, which we already proved that facts are things that can be proven. All
Right.
right. Already noted in connection with the Old Testament Apocrypha, that's where we just come from. We come from out the history of the third kingdom. All right. That in consequences of the spread of Hellenism, that's how these people became Greek.
Right.
All right. So the term Hellenist was applied. This they gone off on this big time. So even they can read that.
Yeah.
All right. I can read it anyhow. Right. It said the term Hellenist was applied not only to such as were Hellenic descent, right? Which we already proved that those ones that were dispersed were from the Hellenization. All right. Going back to the third kingdom. All right. It says, uh, but also to all those who had appropriated the language of Greece. That's a Grecian Jew now, one who imitates the manners and custom of the Greeks. All right. As a universal means of communication. Jews who made their tongue Greek
Right.
or Greek speaking Jews. And the idea and custom collectively known as Hellenism. See what I said? You know?
Yeah.
So the latter was that the latter was thus in strict was in the strict sense Hellenist, different from the Grecian. All right, same thing.
You think it's correct?
All right, all right. So pretty much we could close with that. If we already drive the point home, but we could go on some more. You know, those are uh all right. We can jump down here now. Uh, it says in First Corinthians 1:23 well illustrated this. No, there is consequently much confusion. There's no confusion because we make it plain.
Right.
All right, the scriptures make it plain, which it is quite possible with our limited knowledge of facts in particular cases, which we already voices wide open. All right,
Mm-hmm.
all right,
Very clear it up. Clear it
that's
up
it.
for our people who don't have that
Right.
understanding.
It says, in general, it would seem to be probable, which means they don't know that the Greeks are comprehensively contrasted with the Jews, right? To the reference is to Gentiles, as in, bring out the precept, bring out Acts 14 and 1, because they letting you know. You see what Esau go to play on words.
Yeah.
He letting you know that those Greeks and those Gentiles in the New Testament that's equated with salvation and eternal life that they are Israelites. All right, so we can bring out one or two precepts and show you the connection there.
But at the same time, they trying to trap our people by saying all Gentiles. You
That's
see?
it.
All right. This is Acts 14 and 1. And it came to pass in Iconium that they went both together into the synagogue of the Jews and spake that a great multitude, both of the Jews and also of the Greeks, believe.
All right. Now, jump to 17 and 4 now.
You see? So now, if you don't understand this, like the so-called church system, They see Greeks there, so they're thinking that's the hardcore Greeks. You see, the
Right,
actual heathen. You see,
right. But I got a precept. I got a precept after you read this one.
this is Acts 17 and verse 4. And some of them believed and consorted with Paul and Silas, and of the devout Jews and the devout Greeks, a great multitude, and of the chief women, not a few.
Right, devout Greeks, and there's no damn heathen that can be devout. So that's speaking about Israelites.
You know,
All right. Now that's the clearest up this Greek king, right? Go to First Corinthians chapter 10 and read from verse 1.
1 Corinthians chapter 10, starting at the top. Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea.
All right. So we see Paul is speaking to the Greeks because we're Corinthians in Greece, right? So Paul is telling the Greeks, all our fathers who came out of the land of Israel, Egypt, the Israelites.
Oh,
You see what I said?
right.
So this is who Paul was sent to. Paul wasn't sent to no actual damn heathen.
You know,
All right, so you could drop that on that. All right. So we see here using the precepts here, Acts 14 and 17. You know what I mean? That these all they call them Gentiles, which they are Israelite foreigners, or they are Israelite in the Gentile state of mind. All right,
right.
all right. So now let's jump to Mark 7 and 6 now. Let's deal with this Syrophoenician now.
Mark 7 and 6.
26, Salakia.
Mark 7 and 26. All right. This is Mark chapter 7 and 26. The woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by nation, and she besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter.
All right, and this is a Syrophoenician, but this says here that uh, the Syrophoenician was clearly not of Hellenic descent. Yes, she was. All right. It says, whether Titus in Galatians 2 and 3, and the father of Timothy, which they were all damn. Let me get it back here in First Maccabees. All right. Because Titus, where he is now, Timotheus, right? He got circumcised. All right. All right, this First Maccabees 1 and 42. Yeah, I can read it. It said, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. All right, and everyone should leave his own laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of king. Yeah, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the holy Sabbath. Profaned the Sabbath. All right. Then I can jump down here to yeah, right. I can jump to 48, right? It says that they should also leave their children uncircumcised and made their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanliness and profanation. All right, give me Galatians 2 and 3. All right,
Uh,
showing you the link.
all right. This is Galatians chapter 2 and 3. But neither Titus, who was with me, being a Greek, was compelled to be circumcised.
Right, because Titus was one of those damn children. All right, during this time, because the scripture you prove it.
God,
First Maccabees 1:48, that they should leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanliness and profanation.
God,
All right, now let's jump to Acts chapter 16 and 1.
16 and 1. Acts 16 and 1. Then he then came he to Derbe and Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple was there named Timotheus, the son of a certain woman, which was a Jewess, and believed, but his father was a Greek.
You see that? His father was a Greek, meaning he was one of these same children who didn't circumcise his son.
Right?
All right, now you can read verse 49. It says, to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinance. That's why Timotheus didn't get circumcised.
God,
All right. 50. And whosoever would not do according to the king, do according to the commandment of the king, he said should die.
should die, right?
All right. So now you see, without this history, it's hard to understand the Greeks in the New Testament.
Right?
All right. So you see, wherein the strict sense, Greeks have no means of knowing, but we know that they are Israelites.
Right.
So I guess we could close with that. We could we could add on that, but
God,
let me just continue reading this, right? It says, in the self same manner wrote to his whole kingdom and appoint overseers over all the people, commanding the city of Judea to sacrifice city by city. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, everyone that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land. All right, and drove the Israelites into secret places, wheresoever they could flee for succor. All right, all right. Now I can jump down to verse 60. He says, at which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised, and they hanged the infant about the neck, all right, and rifled their houses and slew them, all right, that had circumcised them. Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. Wherefore they choose rather to die than they might be defiled with their meats, all right, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died, and there were very great wrath upon Israel. All right. So those Greeks in the New Testament that pertain that receive repentance for sins or the remission of sins and eternal life, they are Israelites.
God.
All right. Have anything else you want to add?
No, I just want to say that our people, our people, they are a stiff-necked people. You know, stiff-necked.
Yeah.
They head hard, and they don't follow the Most High word. They don't understand. They don't understand the scriptures. So this breakdown will be given them is for who? For basically reaching the elect out there. You see?
That's who this is for.
The elect. Yeah.
you know. So with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to all Akim and Akwak who did us watching and learning. To you I salute. Shalom.
Shalom.